What is going on, Yeousch? My name is Neely, and I'm a brand new director here in the Yeousch network. Excited to bring you some Battlefield 3 gameplay today. Grand Bazaar Rush running the AEK. And going to talk about incompetent squads. I'm sure we've all been there before. We've teamed up with non-friends and have gotten a rush or conquest match and proceeded to sort of yell at our random squad mates. And I've been there as well as most of you. And today I'll sort of talk about some ways to sort of help your gameplay out when you're faced with a squad that pretty much sucks. So we'll talk about that, and this gameplay sort of speaks for itself. Some of the things that I'm doing is I'm running the assault class, and you guys will get the gist of the gameplay once it gets rolling here. But this gameplay is actually something different, and I'm usually a primarily rush type of player, and I'm not talking about the game mode, I'm talking about my play style. I'm more of a sort of right in your face, run and gun, CQB, close quarters combat type of player in Battlefield. I like to run around a lot with submachine guns with the engineer class and some of the better assault rifles and get right in people's faces. But there are some games where running right at the opposition isn't always going to benefit your play style, and it's really sort of reliable on experience. When you start to play a lot of these maps, and depending upon what game mode you play, Rush, Conquest, Team Deathmatch, etc., you'll sort of learn what the opposite team is doing in certain aspects of the game. Here on Rush, and in most Rush matches, you're going to find that the Rush room is either crazy fast-paced and people are right down your throats, or you're going to find a game that's more, camper oriented. And again, it takes some sort of experience to sort of learn what's going on in the match. In this game here that you're watching, the opposite team was sort of rushing at us full stride in the very beginning, as you just saw. And as we get to this clip here that you're watching, this gameplay sort of dies down. And so what this gameplay is sort of highlighting now as we go on is basically how to handle gameplay when it slows down, and how to best handle sort of the game as you're dealing with a bad squad on top of that. So some of the things that I can sort of relate to you guys to sort of help you out. The first thing is to have patience, and I know that's not always easy, especially when you're playing a shooter. Obviously, a shooter is to shoot people in the face, but sometimes you need to do the little things, and in Battlefield that actually goes a long way. Even though I am running the AEK, which is one of the better assault rifles in the game, and I can sort of hold my own, do my own thing on most of the maps, you still want to constantly supply your teammates with health. And this may seem obvious, but sometimes we forget these things, especially when we're having having trouble figuring out how the other team is playing. And an example I can give you guys is if you're running engineer. That's another great example of how to sort of help your teammates out. If your team's struggling and if you're on a vehicle map, I would say the first class you want to go to is engineer. But when you're on a map like this, Grand Bazaar, assault kit is probably your best bet, although I'm sure a lot of you can play it in different ways. But as you can see here, I'm holding on to perimeter, and some would call this camping. But when you're dealing with an incompetent squad with random players and are not really doing their part, you need to do something to help your team out. Again, like I said, always putting down the health packs, or if you're an engineer, taking out vehicles, support. You want to lay down your ammo. You guys understand that, you're Battlefield players. But again, this may not look too flashy what I'm doing right here, but I'm holding down a choke point, and I'm trying to prevent them, obviously, from getting to the MCOM, and just trying to do the little things as we go on. I don't have people in my squad to sort of watch my back, so I need to find ways to adjust my gameplay. So, I'm sort of throwing a lot of ideas here at you guys, but the main thing that I'm trying to get across to you is to best improve your game with an incompetent squad is just to do the little things, and that's throwing down your ammo, taking out vehicles, holding down choke points, stuff like that. Stuff where you can sort of give yourself the advantage to have better success, and that means holding down a choke point like I am right now. Sometimes that's your best bet. I'm not saying camp in the farthest back corner of the map, because that doesn't help your team, number one, but you need to find an area where you can sort of best prevent the team from planning. If that's near the MCOM, so be it. But as you can tell right here, as I get killed, I was able to at least hold down that area for a good while and get the job done. And the problem with my team here overall, not just my squad, is that they were having a hell of a time of just even holding the other team off. And I think this game was like a 20-minute game, and through the whole 20 minutes, we just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. And like I said, unfortunately, since my squad wasn't too good, I couldn't really work with them, so I was sort of forced to do my own thing. So again, sort of the best ways to get the best out of your play style when you're playing with a bad team or a random squad is, number one, to have patience. I think that's always the key. Sometimes if patience isn't working and you can find a way to rush them, hey, more power to you. But I would definitely recommend patience first. And like I said, I know that since we're playing a shooter here, that's sometimes always a tough thing to do. But sometimes patience can go a long way to improving your game. But hey, if you can find a way to rush and continue to rush at players right in their faces and be successful, hey, more power to you. I love to do that myself when I play Battlefield. I love to sort of get right in people's faces and mow them down as fast as most of you do. Excuse me, but sometimes it doesn't always work. So as this gameplay is coming to an end, this is sort of a mini push that we had up as the gameplay went on, and unfortunately we weren't able to hold them off. As you can see, our whole team is actually being pretty smart here, sort of holding down the last MCOM here, but unfortunately it wasn't enough, as they're going to push through and get us. So hopefully you guys took some ideas away from this commentary. Again, I know I threw a lot of ideas at you, but just trying to give you some tips on how to improve your game. I think the gameplay here in and of itself can go sort of a long way to showing you how to sort of better yourself. You just really have to rely on whatever class you're running. You have to run to the strengths of that class. And again, I know that sounds obvious, but sometimes we forget those obvious things. So that's about all I have, guys. Hopefully I helped a little bit here. I apologize if I was all over the place, but that's all I got. Feel free to check me out, 1990 Neely on YouTube. Come on over and check me out. I have plenty of other shooter footage for you. And I'm sure I'll be throwing some more Battlefield content at you here on Yeousch. That's the end of the gameplay. Like I said, we lost here, but I had a pretty decent game. That's all I got, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one.